4 or 5 days into recovering. I'm just like in bed when I was like taking care of me. I can't do anything, can't speak. I'm like texting my manager. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna post that like first I wish you cheated video. I go back to bed. I like sleep for a few hours. I wake back up. I check my phone. It's like 5 million views already. I'm like, oh no. I mean, oh yes, but oh no, because I can't speak or do anything.
Hey friends, it's your girl, Emily Curl, back in my virtual studio. And today we're hanging out with artist and content creator. We have Alexander Stewart joining us today. Alexander, so nice to see you. I feel like I've seen you all over my feed. What does your life look like?
Oh my God. The last few months have been really awesome. And I'm very, very, very grateful for them. They've also been chaotic. I went on a few tours. I opened for Charlie Puth. I put a song out. I got my tonsils out, which was a horrible experience. Don't recommend it. A lot of life is happening. It's settling down a tiny bit. It's like I get to go on vacation in a week and a half.
Wow. Where are you going on vacation?
I'm just going back to Toronto just to go home.
I didn't realize that you were from Toronto. When I was like digging into your story, I didn't know that was home, but you currently live in LA.
I live in LA. I have for about 4 years, but I miss home so much, and my whole family still lives there. So any opportunity I get to take just a week off, just to go back and see my family, go to my cottage, do all the Canadian things, I'm there.
There's so many amazing artists. It's really interesting that are from Canada. Obviously, like Justin Bieber, but then you have Tate McRae. Like you have some big ones that are coming out of Canada. What is going on in the water in there?
I don't know, but honestly, a lot of like it was really inspiring for me as I was growing up. Being from there, seeing all these people like coming out of like Toronto or like Canada, Tate McRae and The Weeknd and Justin Bieber and Shawn Mendes and Alessia Cara,
That's
and
right,
like all
yeah.
kinds. And so I'm like growing up and all these people around me are like doing what I wanted to do. And I was like, I could do that.
And here you are, your song, I Wish You Cheated, the teaser video has over 41 million views. Take me back to this moment when you realized that this was taking off in this way. Did you expect it?
It's actually kind of a hilarious story because I had a few songs, like the way TikTok works, it's so awesome because like I'm an independent artist and so I'm kind of my own A&R where I kind of pick the songs that I want to put out, but also I get to like tease them to the people that want to listen to my music and they can also kind of help me pick. So what I usually do is I'll tease a few songs, see what people like, and then I kind of gauge that. Right after the Charlie tour, I got my tonsils out. And right before I got my tonsils out, there was a day in between the two where I like recorded this whole song because we're like, oh my gosh, this one's kind of cool. Like I really like this song. Like let's just get it done so that in case people like this one, we'll have it. And I shot some content for it, a few videos, like probably 15 over the day. It was a wild day. It was right before the surgery. Wake up the next morning, have my surgery, whatever. It's like 4 or 5 days into recovering. I'm just like in bed when I was like taking care of me. I can't do anything, can't speak. I'm like texting my manager. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna post that like first I wish you cheated video because I think it's kind of good and like if people don't like it then whatever, like well, and so I post it. I go back to bed. I like sleep for a few hours. I wake back up. I check my phone. It's like 5 million views already. I'm like, oh no. I mean, oh yes, but oh no, because I can't speak or do anything. So it turned into this insane frenzy where I was so incredibly excited and grateful it was happening, but also so stressed because I couldn't leave my bed. But we got it up, uploaded, got it out within like 9 days of that video. And I was like I'm so proud of everybody that like worked together to make that happen.
Yeah. With like your tonsil surgery, does that affect your voice at all?
I wasn't able to sing for a month. So my first time I was able to sing was like 3 days ago. So it's been I just got back from like my vocal coach, my doctor, like literally just checking it all to make sure it's okay. But it was terrifying because anything to do with your voice and a scalpel in there, that's so scary.
The first time singing after like you've recovered, did your voice sound the same? Did anything change? Did anything feel different?
I'm not patient when it comes to this stuff. So like a week after I was like, I could probably sing. And then I like tried and I was like, first off, ouch, but I also sounded so different. I freaked myself out way too much. And I was like calling my doctor. I was like, my voice is different. Like, I don't know what to do. And then he's like, calm down. It's been a week. So like after 4 weeks and I sang again, it sounds basically the exact same. It just sounds like fuller now because essentially I don't have two like giant tonsils in the back of my throat.
Oh my God, so it's even better.
It is, thank gosh.
So there was a silver lining at the end of that.
There is a major silver lining. Hey, positives, I got to see my mom too. I don't see her that often because we're in different countries. So lots of positives.
It sounds like you're so close to your family. What do they think of like all this success of everything happening for you right now?
I am very, very close to my family. They're my absolute rock. I don't know what the heck I would do without them. They have been, since I started almost like a decade ago now, they have been so unbelievably supportive, literally through everything. When I was in high school and I was like, I don't think I'm gonna go to university right away. They were like, okay. And when I was in, I guess 19, I was like, I think I'm gonna move to LA and just like give it a shot. They were like, okay, like not, that easily. Like they obviously had their questions,
but they believed in the dream, and I'm sure they believed in the talent.
They did. It's so funny because I had a conversation with my mom when she was here. Because I think back and I'm like, okay, like if I was a parent right now and my kid was just like, I'm gonna go move to a different country. And I looked at her, I was like, how were you okay with that? And she was like, honestly, she was like, me and your dad, we just like never thought twice about it. We were just like, he's gonna follow his dream whether we want him to or not. So we might as well be on board. And I was like, oh, my heart.
Sweet. That's so sweet.
It was really sweet. So we've become very, very close to this whole process.
I want to go back to the video for a second. Because like I said, I feel like some people got the teaser, then you get the full song, I Wish You Cheated. You're playing it for your friend, Natalie. Who is Natalie and how did you two meet?
Okay, so Natalie is one of my best friends and she's also an unbelievable singer. Just one of the most insane voices I've ever heard. And so when I started really working on TikTok and being like, okay, like I could do this, like, maybe about a year ago, she was also really doing her thing. Like, she was always on my For You page. I was like, okay, like this girl can sing. So I think I DM'd her on Instagram or something. I was like, oh my God, I would love to like, shoot some videos or whatever, like some singing content and whatnot. And I forget how exactly it happened, but I ended up just meeting her. Like she hadn't lived here yet or anything, but she was visiting. She was just staying at this Airbnb in like Santa Monica. So I just drove down. We got along so well. And we just became like best friends over the year, essentially. And so we started like making videos together and then it turned into like a really nice friendship. And I think it's awesome because it's such a genuine friendship. And I think people that watch our videos know that too. Like I feel like you can sense it. And I'm like her biggest champion. I feel like she's such a champion of mine. And it just became such a beautiful like relationship I have out in Los Angeles. It's like not easy to find out here.
Wow, I know, and that's special. And it was funny too, just watching the reactions. Everyone in the comments is like, Natalie is all of us when we first heard this song. I feel like she encapsulated that reaction so well.
Her scream at the end of the video kills me to this. Every single time I watch it, it makes me laugh so hard.
Wish you did something wrong.
By the way, I also got to ask you, I noticed like in the videos on your TikToks that in some of the hashtags, you hashtag Olivia Rodrigo in all your videos. Can you tell me the story behind that?
That's so funny you bring that up because I feel like no one even noticed that. But
well, because I was like, are they doing a song together? That's what made me think of it.
I absolutely wish. I'm honestly just a fan of hers and we both make pop music. So I was like, I might as well put her in the hashtag. Because if you look at my hashtags, sometimes they're so random. Like I'll throw Taylor Swift in there. I'll throw anything in there. I'm like, I don't know.
You're like, if you like Taylor, if you like Olivia, you'll like me.
Yeah, that's exactly kind of the vibe. And I'm also such a fan of all these artists anyway. So I'm like, put them in the hashtags.
What would a Alexander Stewart and Olivia Rodrigo collab sound like?
I honestly, I have no idea. It would be the most epic thing ever for me. That would be such a dream come true. What would it sound like? I feel like I do a lot of ballads and like a lot of sadder songs. So I feel like it would have to be one of her sadder vibes. Maybe like Driver's License meets I Wish You Cheated.
I Wish You Cheated, the story behind it. Can you take me back to that moment writing that song, the feelings that you were working with? And also, was this a personal experience or were you playing with imagination a little bit?
Oh my gosh. So it's a lot of things kind of put together, but the song is actually over a year old. I wrote this
a
while back. I've always loved this song so much. I've always wanted it to come out, but maybe I didn't feel right about the situation I wrote it about. Maybe I was still hung up on somebody. Maybe I don't know what it was, but I was just like, it just didn't feel right. And then all of a sudden, I'm working on basically this album now that I'm so excited about. And we're like picking these songs and listening back. And I reheard this one. I was like, oh my God, like it's like a quirky song, but it's so honest. And what a lot of people don't know about this song is that, so I have a song called Blames on Me, which is the first song where I really took accountability, where I was in a relationship and I was definitely the reason it didn't work. And I ended up ending the relationship because at the time I was like, I can't do this, like it's too busy, blah, 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 which is all true, but I ended up really breaking my own heart because I just like got overwhelmed and I was like, I can't do it. Breaking your own heart sucks. And so during that time period, I wrote Blames on Me. I wrote a bunch of other songs and I Wish You Cheated is one of them. So a lot of people, when they hear this song, thinks it's about somebody leaving you, just like you're on good terms and it's just a heartbreak because they fell out of love. But really, I wrote it about the exact same thing Blames on Me is about, where I left the relationship, ended up breaking my own heart. And I'm sitting here being like, and I can't even hate this person. I can't like wake up and be like, screw whatever. Because I did it to myself. So that's like a really kind of fun, I haven't actually said that before, but that is actually what the song is about.
It's so interesting you said that because I relate to that a lot in the sense of like, first off, you're obviously so self-aware. You can process your emotions, you understand why it happened, but then you also have the side of you that's like a little self-sabotagey, which I'm like, I do the same thing.
I mean, I still have so much work to do with the self-awareness, but like the self-sabotage, 100%. I am that to a core, to a T. I even said that today earlier. The self-awareness after that relationship, it took like 6 months for me to actually realize what had happened. Like it was like I was like, at first I was like, oh yeah, like whatever, I don't care. And like a month later I was like, why am I sad? And then like a month after that, I was like, oh my God, like I really miss this person. And the month after that, I was like, and it was my fault. And so it was like a whole.
It was a process.
It was an absolute process to the point of realizing what had actually happened. But I learned so much from that. Like every relationship I've ever been in, I'm sure it's the same with you and everybody. You learn a lot about other people,
So much
about yourself.
Totally.
So I learned probably the most from that relationship and wrote lots of songs about learning that lesson.
So Alexander, today, like this version of you, like how are you feeling about everything? Like, are you able to just look back, sing those songs, appreciate it for what it's worth? Does it still bring up emotions?
I think it'll always bring up some emotions. I'm a really strong believer of if you ever loved somebody, there's always going to be a piece of you that loves that person, whether it's the piece of you from 4 years ago when you were with them, or if it's a current piece missing. I'm a really strong believer in that. Whenever I do sing these songs, every time, without fail, I know who each of them is about, obviously. And it comes back. And every single time, it does get like a little easier, and it just becomes like a part of my past. Like I can appreciate what happened, but it will always bring something up for me for sure.
Do the people that you wrote the song about know that those songs are about them?
You know, some of them I would not be caught dead telling. And then some of them, yeah, I for absolutely. So, because some of the lines in the songs are very specific. So, you know, they would just know.
They would know. I feel like I've learned so much about you, but we're still going to learn a few more things. So we have our game called 5 First, Alexander, if you're down, where I'm going to give you 5 different scenarios and you tell me about the first time you experienced them. Are you ready?
Absolutely.
Okay. Tell me about the first time that you found out that you could sing.
I was probably 4, and my dad owns a recording studio. And he told me to come in, and he like writes songs. And so it's been in the family forever. And he wanted me to do harmonies on his songs, which I'm so happy I did, because now we have these very beautiful little like time capsules where I'm just like this tiny little kid like singing. But
I feel like you should sample some of that on some of your music.
Honestly,
Have you thought about it?
I have actually really thought about it. I've talked to my dad about this because I'm like, how cool would it be to have 4-year-old Alexander singing on Alexander's first album?
That would be actually insane and so special. I think you should do it.
I think I should do it. I actually, you're sparking some stuff here because I haven't thought about it in a minute. But that was it. It was with my dad in his studio.
Okay, so then I know you used to post covers on YouTube. So our second question is, tell me about the very first time you ever went viral on the internet for one of your songs.
Oh, it was also with my dad. Okay, so it was my first time ever in Los Angeles. YouTube, I'd like solely been building like a following on YouTube, and nothing had gone like crazy viral though. Like nothing had like really blown up. And I remember I was with my dad. YouTube would flow me out to do like this cool little talk thing about starting a YouTube channel and whatnot in music. And we were staying in this Airbnb, and we were like, okay, let's go for a hike because people hike in LA. So we're like, let's go. And so I woke up that morning, went for the hike. I remember checking my phone. I posted this cover of Havana by Camila Cabello. And my dad would produce all of the covers for me. And so it was like a father-son thing that we did, which was really nice. I remember checking my phone to see it that day, and I woken up and it was just going crazy. And it was like such an exciting thing because it was the first time. It was like shared between me and my dad. And so it was like really special. Oh my God, like this is the first time that I'm really seeing like some like success. And I think that was like, okay, like, so cool to have that happen on the cover. Now I'm gonna try to make it happen on an original song.
On an original. By the way, did Camila ever see that song? Did she ever see the cover?
I honestly have no idea. I feel like she must have at some point, because like, you know, like we're all on our phones all the time. And like, I know for a fact, like I see things all the time that I'm sure people that make them don't think that I see, but I'm always I'll scroll all over the place.
Oh, so this is good to know. So people on TikTok, if they cover your songs, you're going to watch it.
Oh, for sure. I will for sure see it. Absolutely.
Oh, it's good to know. Okay. So for everyone watching, listen, Alexander's going to watch your covers. Okay. What about question 3? Who was the first call you made when you found out you were going to be on Charlie Puth's tour?
Oh, my parents. Like immediately. I love my family. It's just every answer. My family.
I know. I love that. That's so sweet, though. What did they think? And first of all, how excited were you? That's such a monumental moment.
It was a really incredible moment. I was in my room with my 2 best friends. I have so much stuff to the point where like I was like, I have to get rid of it.
Oh, because you're redoing. Yeah, for those who didn't. Yeah, you're redoing your apartment, right? That's what.
So I literally, we're going through my clothes. I was like, here, you can have this one. I was just giving stuff away. I was like, I have too much stuff. Take it. And so as we're doing this, I have clothes literally everywhere. My best friends are putting like dress up. They look insane. It's like a hilarious moment. And my manager calls me. He's like, are you sitting down? I'm like, no, but I could be. He's like, sit down. And he's just like, you're opening for Charlie Puth. And I like flipped. And it was so exciting. And like Flynn is my best friend, also my bandmate, and he went to Berkeley and Charlie went to Berkeley. So like he looked up to Charlie and like I look up to Charlie, obviously. And it was just like a really cool moment because Flynn also was beside me, would then obviously immediately be going on the tour as well because he's been my band.
Yeah,
so it was like,
of course.
It was just a really, really special moment for everybody. And then right after I got off the phone with my manager, I called my parents and I was like, guess what?
Did they go nuts or they were so happy?
They did. I actually filmed it. There's a video somewhere on my TikTok of it. And my mom just like lets a little shriek. It's the cutest thing on the whole planet. I'm going on tour with Charlie Puth.
What is your favorite memory of like you and Charlie being on tour working with them?
It was at the Berkeley show at the Greek in like San Francisco. And we were backstage, me and Flynn, my best friend and guitarist, were playing ping pong, and he like walks by and we just started talking and he started like he was just so sweet, and he was like talking about certain points in my set that he could hear every night that he really loved, and like just like really, really nice stuff. And like that night he got off stage and I was sitting backstage listening to his set, and like he came out and he was like, what'd you think of that? He was so pumped, and it was just like, I just felt like so, I don't know, welcomed and like loved in that scenario. And it was like a really,
you're like
really
a part
sweet,
of the team.
like yeah, exactly. And it just felt like really nice, you know, to just like have someone just like that you looked up to for so long be so supportive and kind.
That's amazing. And speaking of shows, question number 4 is we just saw that you were at the Eras tour, which I love. What was the very first Taylor Swift song, or I'll give you album, that you really loved?
Song has to be Love Story. That's like
it still hit.
Never not hits. When it came on at the Eras tour, I cried. I was like, this is amazing. People getting proposed to. I'm so single, but it's great. Okay, after the first album I really love, I would say that my favorite because it's one that really actually changed my life and the way that I looked at pop music and everything, was 1989. Because that was right when I was starting to like be like, okay, maybe I could make music, maybe I could do this. And she came out with 1989. I listened to the whole album and I was like, oh my God. I'm like, this is so badly what I want to do. And that album really did change my life. So
how excited are you for Taylor's version then?
The Vault songs? Oh my God, I'm gonna lose my stuff.
Do you have any predictions for who you think might be on like the 5 Vault tracks? Like, do you think she's gonna have a collab?
I know there's rumors circulating of like certain people, but I actually have no idea. I don't want to say it because I don't want to jinx it.
But if you say it out loud and it does come true, it's like, that's extra points for you.
No, I swear if I say it's not gonna happen, I can't do it.
Okay, so my last one for you is the very first time you got recognized by a fan in public.
Oh my God. Okay, I was in my high school choir in grade 10, and we went to go do a little performance at a middle school right across the street. I think for like the kids there that were thinking of going to high school or whatever. And it was in that moment that I realized that people in like my neighborhood, at least, were sort of paying attention to what was going on. Because what I was doing was definitely different than anyone else, what they were doing.
So you're like the cool kid on the block.
Well, I was such a loser until like this, which is the crazy part. I was not the cool kid on the block at all. But then people started to like, switch up a bit, which I was like fine with, because at that point I was like ready to not be a loser anymore. I was at the middle school standing in the choir, and I remember the kids sort of like taking their phones at me and like, and then like putting them down. I was like, what's going on? I remember I got up and a few of them like come up to me and they were like, can we have a picture? And I was like, with me? Why? But that was probably the first time.
Last question for you. You mentioned this a couple of times. You're working on the album. Can you give us any teasers of what we can expect? Any themes you're exploring? Any dates released?
It's a combination of basically the last 3 years of my life. It's obviously a lot of heartbreak, but it's also a lot of talk about mental health and moving on, and also wishing you could change things and also being content at the same time. It's basically just a place where I want people to be able to just like hear it and feel maybe just seen in certain ways. And maybe that's one song, maybe it's the whole project, whatever it is. But I've lived life like everybody else, and I just want to help other people feel maybe just a tiny bit less alone in whatever they're going through, whether it's relationship or mental health or whatever it may be.
We're so excited for you, truly. Congratulations on everything. It's been so fun getting to know you and chatting with you, and I cannot wait to see everything to come, Alexander. We're so excited for you.
Oh, thank you so much. This is so fun.
Thanks so much for watching. Did you like that video? You can check out more over here, and don't forget to subscribe to iHeart right here. And if you're already a longtime fan, make sure you ring the bell down below so you don't miss a single video. See you next time.